What's good, fam? It's your main man, Ryan, and we are back taking a look at the Brewmaster. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about like the start for me with Monk because obviously I don't play it now. I talk about playing it all the time, but I don't actually play it. And Brewmaster was actually probably the thing that made me fall in love with tanking, which sounds really weird. But in MOP, Brewmaster was very cool. It had a lot of really cool concepts. And I really liked the fact that they were like not a very passive tank. They were insanely active, especially in MOP. And, the way guard worked and elusive brew and a lot of stuff they had in MOP was extremely unique. And I do think if there was a pinnacle to tank, that would probably be the thing that I always loved the most. It's like the tank that just gets slaughtered, but if you play insanely well, you're extremely powerful. Where have you heard that before? So at the time they had Vengeance, and it basically just played as like kind of like an anti-Blood DK. It was almost like the exact same thing as Blood DK is now, but just kind of maybe two or three spells flipped around. Instead of like massive healing, you'd be putting massive absorbs on yourself. And especially like with Vengeance at the time, not the spec Vengeance, but the mechanic Vengeance, it was really, really interesting. So will Brewmaster live up to that? Let's find out. I'm always interested in Brewmaster because it really got me into Blood DK. So let's take a look at what they got. We're going to take a look at both trees really quick here. And I've already seen a few of these things. Some people have kind of spoiled it for me, but let's talk about it. So right out of the gate, you see a very interesting concept here. Soothing Mist is here. Of course, I believe they have that kind of thing already. That's all good. Rising Sun Kick. I don't actually know what spells Brewmaster has now, but it's not surprising to see these things early on. Tiger's Lust. So this is actually just a passive spell now, and all Brewmasters get it for free. That's very surprising to me. We have Paralysis. We have Calming Presence. Reduces all damage taken by 3%. Just a passive. We have Roll, which is, honestly, I'm surprised Roll isn't one of these ones, but okay. Tiger Tail Sweep increases the range of leg sweep by 2 yards and reduces its cooldown by 5 seconds. I believe that's like a talent or something. Or maybe it's like a conduit or something. Heavy Air increases the range of Crackling Jade Lightning, which I have to assume is a passive. Everybody gets it now. We have Vivify. Oh, wait, yeah, no. So this is, I was right about this. So Vivify is the spell that everybody gets, and immediately they get Soothing Mist as well. Yeah, while channeling, Enveloping Mist and Vivify may be cast instantly on the target. So already a very unique thing here. This is Brewmaster we're talking about, and they get a spell that's kind of iconic for Mistweaver. And I don't think any other spec has had it. Maybe even in MOP they had it, but that's it. So that's pretty unique. There's a lot of very interesting stuff going on here in the talent tree, like the regular one. We have Detox, which is the normal diseased spell, poison and diseased spell. We have Disable, which I think they have. I'm not actually sure because it makes it look like it's a Windwalker only thing. Paralysis CD is reduced, rank 2. We have Grace of the Crane, all healing taken by 2%. It's going to go up to 4%. Vivify is now an instant cast. Oh, okay. Ferocity of Zwen increases all damage dealt by 4%. It's a pretty good passive. Elusive Mist reduces damage taken while channeling Soothing Mists by 6%. Transcendence, okay, we like that. Spearhand Strike, this is the interrupt, so this is great for Mistweaver because now it means everybody's going to have it. So 4 of the 6 healing specs will have an interrupt, which is going to be great for tanking. Turns your skin to stone, Fortifying Brew, so this is the normal talent that, or the normal spell that everybody would have, it seems. Chi Wave and Chi Burst, that's a good one to have on our thing together. We have Provoke. This is really cool to see. All 3 specs will have access to this now. Actually, you know what? They probably already do. It's probably just a passive, but I've never seen anybody but Brewmaster try to do it. Provoked targets move towards you at 50% increased speed. We have Ring of Peace in the dead center of the tree. That's pretty down there, but I think that's a good place for it. Fast Feet Rising Sun Kick deals 35% increased damage, and Spinning Crane Kick deals 5% additional damage, and that's dex times 2. We have Celery, which is a food, and then Chi Torpedo, which is not. So that'll be interesting. Fortifying Brew or Fortifying Brew. These are going to be a tough choice here. Fortifying Brew also increases dodge and armor by 25%, or its cooldown is reduced by 2 minutes. Wow. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, I don't know how brews are going to work in Dragonflight, but I'm pretty sure Fortifying Brew is like a really long CD now, and you're meant to constantly use spells to reduce it. So if that's the case, 2 minutes is a lot on that. We have Rollout, which is a song. Roll during Chi Torpedo or roll, you are immune to roots and snares. That's pretty good. That'd be good for keys. Here things start getting crazy. Diffuse magic reduces magic damage you take by 60%. Okay, that's pretty good, right? Eye of the Tiger, Tiger Palm also applies Eye of the Tiger, so that's like that pot or whatever. Dampen harm. Oh yeah. So yeah, you can now take diffuse magic and dampen harm. This has Brewmaster, by the way. You can be able to take both of these. Yeah, they're gonna be it's just kind of crazy actually, man, because you know what, dude? I feel like every spec besides Blood DK is getting insane things in their talent tree. Actually, Bear too, they're also bad, but their class tree as Blood is satisfying. It's good. I like it a lot, but they don't really get anything that's good. It's like Blood already had all the good shit, but like Monk, you know, there's so many cool things. Like look at this, Touch of Death can now be used on targets with less than 15%, dealing 35% of your maximum health and damage. Rank 2, okay. There's more. Expel harm, so that, you know, everybody has that right now. Brewmaster draws in the positive chi of your healing sphere, so that looks like that's sticking around or something. Close to the heart, New York Institute, though, you and your allies within $1,000,000 yards gain an additional 4% leech. That's pretty interesting. Escape from reality. We'd love to do that. After you use Transcendence, you can use Transcendence again within 10 seconds. Okay. During this time, if you cast Vivify on yourself, its healing is increased by 70%, and its 50% of the cost is refunded. Okay, wind walking. You and your allies within 2 yards have a 2% increased movement speed. So that's going to be cool. Brewmaster's going to have that too. That's another really nice piece of utility for them. Fatal Touch. Touch of Death's cooldown has been reduced by 60 seconds. That's a lot. Generous Pour. You and your allies within, again, the $ thing, having a 4%. So you're going to either take the leech or the avoidance. That's pretty powerful. Bounce back. Again, a lot of these are not finished, so I don't really know what this is actually going to look like, but we're just going to react to it anyway. When a hit deals more than 20% of your maximum health, reduce all damage by blah, blah, blah for 6 seconds. Okay, a lot of powerful defensive stuff. We have the Summoned Black Ox statue here. This is actually a class talent now, so that's very interesting. Everybody's going to have access to this, which, you know, I don't really know how it works as a non-brewmaster, but you may cast Provoke on the statue to taunt all enemies near the statue. Yeah, you probably don't want to do that as a Windwalker, but the statue itself is probably very, very good for Windwalker. Resonating Fists. When 3 consecutive abilities hit more than 3 enemies, deal an additional damage amount. Okay. And this one is not even, they don't even have one here. So that's like, basically, this is like a Mistweaver thing. This is like a Brewmaster thing. And this is like a Windwalker thing. So the Windwalker one's not even close to being finished. But yeah, we have Save Them All. All your healing spells heal more than 3 people below 35% health. That heals for an additional amount. And then we also have Summon Jade Serpent Statue. When you channel Soothing Mist, the statue will also begin to channel Soothing Mist on your target, healing for even more. So, right out of the gate, when I look at this, it makes me wonder what the reality of them actually tanking while healing is. What is the actual reality of it? I don't know. You know, it sounds pretty aggressive, sounds pretty crazy, but they're getting, you know, and I don't know anything about Vivify right now. You guys could tell me about this if it's actually an instant heal now. But, you know, well, one way or the other, it looks like it's going to be instant because it says it on this. I don't even understand that part. That's probably like a bug or something, maybe. I don't really know about that part yet, but yeah, channeling Soothing Mist on you. When you channel it, you take 6% more reduction. Okay. Now, the thing is, typically you cannot dodge or parry while you're channeling, right? Or whatever, block as well, but that doesn't apply here. But if that was not true, and you healing yourself was not in any way detrimental for tanking, well, it now has a 6% damage reduction on it, and it heals you. And you have a statue that's going to double its healing, basically. That sounds ridiculous. Honestly, to me, like if Brewmaster was literally just get threat on everything and then just spam heal itself over and over again, that would actually be kind of cool. I actually think that would be kind of cool, to be honest. I think that would be quite neat. But let's take a look at Brewmaster itself because there's a lot more. Keg Smash, that's a good spell. We have Stagger, unavoidable, you have to take Stagger. Purifying Brew clears 50% of your damage delayed with Stagger. Or Celestial Brew, increase the absorption of your next Celestial Brew by up to 200% as well. So where is that going to be? That'll be here somewhere. Shuffles, Nizao's teaching allow you to shuffle during combat, increasing the effectiveness of your Stagger. Shuffle is granted by attacking enemies with Keg Smash, Blackout Kick, and Spinning Crane Kick. This was always like in the past, it was like a really, really important thing that you need to track because it's like, it's huge, it's giant. And if you let this fall off for too long, you'll just start getting slaughtered. And so that's pretty early in the tree. We have Hit Scheme. Dealing damage with Blackout Kick increases the damage of your next Keg Smash, stacking up to 4 times. Is that in the game currently? Never heard of that. Gift of the Ox. When you take damage, you have a chance to summon a healing sphere only visible to you. Moving through this healing sphere heals you for a lot. And that is, again, a number. That is 2. You can get 2 of those. Healing Elixir. Drinking a healing elixir grants you 15% of your maximum health. So that's a talent currently, I believe. I've always liked that talent, so I'm really happy that you'll actually be able to get that. We have Quick Sip. Every 3 seconds of shuffle, you gain purifies 1% of your damage delayed by stagger. That's kind of interesting. So just free purification. And we have Rushing Jade Wind or Special Delivery. So those are 2 things that are on a talent tree to get right now, and I think they're, they're pretty interesting. Special Delivery has been something that people have used for a long time, but I always felt like Rushing Jade Wind was kind of felt needed for the rotation to feel fun. We have Celestial Flames, which I believe is a legendary or something right now. Drinking from brews has a 30% chance to coat the monk with Celestial Flames. While Celestial Flames is active, Spinning Crane Kick applies Breath of Fire, and Breath of Fire reduces damage affected by enemies deal to you by an additional 5%. And so that is just a single talent point. We have Celestial Brew, a swig of strong brew that coalesces purified chi escaping your body into a Celestial Guard. And so that is just the same spell that we have currently. 1 minute cooldown. Not really sure, what's going on with the cooldown there or anything. Doesn't seem to mention the brew concept, but I assume nothing's changing there. Staggering Strikes. When you Blackout Kick, your stagger is reduced by 50. That's an interesting number. Graceful Exit. After you successfully dodge or an enemy misses you, you gain 5% increased movement speed for 3 seconds. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, that could be good for kiting, right? Zen Meditation, there it is. Reduces all damage taken by 60%. Being hit by a melee attack will cancel this effect, so that's going to be, hard to use like always. Clash, this is definitely one of my favorite spells that returned recently. You and the target charge each other, meeting halfway, then rooting all targets. That's quite cool. We have Breath of Fire all the way down here, so that's actually lower than Celestial Flames. Breath of Fire on targets in front of you, causing damage. Deals reduced damage to secondary targets. Target effect by Keg Smash will also burn and deal 5% less damage to you. Okay. Celestial Brew rank 2. Purifying Brew increases the absorption of your next Celestial Brew by up to 200%, so that's normal. Purifying Brew now has 2 charges. That's their rank 2. We have Strength of Spirit. Expel harms. Healing is increased by up to 200% based on your missing health. And I think that's just like a... Is that in the game? It sounds familiar, but I don't know. Purifying Brew instantly heals you for 25% of the purified stagger damage. Oh, wow. That sounds like that would be really good. Guy Plin's Imperial Brew. That sounds like that would be really good. Especially in raids, right? Fundamental Observation. Zen Meditation has a 25% reduced cooldown and is no longer canceled when you move or are hit by melee attacks. Oh boy. Yeah, 25% reduced cooldown on 5 minutes and is no longer canceled in any way, effectively. So you now have a 60% damage reduction. It is still a channel. Okay. We have Face Palm. Tiger Palm has a 10% chance to deal 300% of the normal damage and reduce the remaining cooldown of your brews by an additional 1 second. That was like really, really powerful in the past, so good to see that still here. Scalding Brew. Keg Smash deals an additional 20% damage to targets affected by Breath of Fire. Or Salabeam's Strength. Who is that? When you use Keg Smash, the remaining cooldown of Breath of Fire is reset. Okay, pretty good. Fortifying Brew. Fortifying Brew increases stagger effectiveness by 15% while active. And so, yes, this is like basically just combines into the other Fortifying Brew. I think the way it's meant to work is if you only take this one, then you just have only that part of it. I guess. I don't know. Black Ox Brew. It chugs some Black Ox Brew, which instantly refills your energy, purifying brew charges, and resets the cooldown of Celestial Brew. Pretty good. Bob and Weave. Stagger duration increased by 3 seconds. It causes stagger damage to be increased. Damage to instead be applied over 13 seconds. So that was always a very interesting talent for tanking, I felt like, especially in raids. We have Invoke Nizao, the Black Ox. What's that doing there? Summons an effigy of Nizao, the Black Ox, for 25 seconds. Nizao attacks your primary target and frequently stomps, damaging all nearby enemies. Oh, I misunderstood what I was looking at. I thought this was the statue. Nizao, the Black Ox, does also for attack power and plus 25% of the stagger damage you've recently purified, while active 25% of the damage delayed by stagger is instead staggered by Nizao, so that's pretty powerful tanking CD still. Light Brewing reduces the cooldown of Purifying Brew and Celestial Brew by 20%. I've always loved that talent. Training of Nizao, gain up to 15% mastery based on your current level of stagger. Okay. Shocking Blow. Crackling Jade Lightning deals 40% less damage and has a cost of 40 energy, but is now instant and causes your next blackout kick against the target to shock them, dealing additional nature damage. Very interesting. I don't really know about Crackling Jade Lightning. Shadow Boxing Treads. Blackout kick damage increased by 20% and strikes an additional 2 targets. Fluidity of Motion. Blackout kick's cooldown is reduced by 1 second and its damage by 10 seconds. So seemingly that's just an offensive spell unless I'm missing an interaction there. But I guess the more blackout kicks you get, the better, obviously, for the class. Dragonfire Brew. After using Breath of Fire, you breathe fire 2 additional times, dealing extra damage. Breath of Fire damage is increased by up to 100% based on your level of stagger. Wow. Charred Passions. The Breath of Fire ignites your right leg in flame for 8 seconds, causing your blackout kick and spinning crane kick to deal 100% additional damage as fire damage, and refresh the duration of your Breath of Fire in the target. I think that's a legendary 2 or something. That sounds really familiar. So yeah, seemingly what we're getting at here is that there's going to be a lot of passive 5% damage reductions up. And all of these talents are going to be really, really good for passively reducing damage. We have High Tolerance here, which has been a staple. I'm glad to see that's on its own. Stagger is 2% more effective at delaying damage, and you gain a lot of haste based on your current stagger, up to 30%. It's probably the number it's at now, but that's still really good to see that. Walk with the Ox. Abilities that grant Shuffle reduce the cooldown of Invoke Nizao, the Black Ox, and Nizao Stomp deals an additional 10% damage. So that's cool. A lot of good synergy there. Elusive Footwork. Blackout Kick deals an additional 5% damage. Blackout Kick grants critical strikes grant an additional 1 stack of Elusive Brawler. Very interesting. That's the dodge, right? Elusive Brawler. Each time you dodge or an enemy misses you, the remaining cooldown on your brews is reduced. Anvil and the Stave. I quite like that. Counter Strike. Each time you dodge or an enemy misses you, your next Tiger Palm or Spinning Crane Kick deal 100% increased damage. You dodge a lot. Would you guys say that? Is that a common theme as Brewmaster? Oh, we have Bone Dust Brew as Brewmaster. That's interesting. Hurls a brew created from the bones of your enemies at the ground. Yeah, very interesting that they're choosing that one for Brewmaster. I guess for Monk in general, probably. Invoke Nizao rank 2. Purify stagger damage while Nizao is active. Oh, okay. So that was what we were reading before. So that's all the way down here. We have Exploding Keg, which is probably like one of my favorite spells ever for tanking. Causes them to miss. That was their Legion artifact ability. I always love that. Causes them to miss for 3 seconds. And this was actually really interesting because you can actually use that to help the other tank. It was very, very, very interesting how creative you can be with this. There was times that if you used it well, it would actually really be overpowered against certain tank mechanics. Now, I'm pretty sure it's still in the game right now, and it probably doesn't do that. They probably fixed that or changed that by now. But regardless, that was always something I loved about it in Legion, and I don't know how that works now. And Blackout combo still here. Tiger Palm damage increased. Breath of Fire. Blackout Kick empowers your next ability. So all these things. So Celestial Brew gains up to 3 additional stacks of Purified Chi. Okay. Here's another one. Weapons of Order. Very interesting. Man, Monk is actually getting 2 of the Covenant abilities. That's interesting. None of them are the Vent Tier 1. Sorry, Cop. But yeah, Brewmaster gains a bunch of mastery. Additionally, Keg Smash cooldown is reset instantly. Enemies hit by Keg Smash take 8% increased damage from you for 10 seconds, stacking up to 4 times. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. And then we also have Bountiful Brew. Your abilities have a low chance to cast Bone Dust Brew at your target's location. So what does this actually even do? Typically, your abilities have a 50% chance to affect the target a second time at 40% effective as shadow damage or healing. I never really understood this spell, to be honest, for Brewmaster. Like, I didn't know what its value was. To me, it honestly doesn't seem like it has value. Like, why would you take this? Is it literally just offense? I never really understood this. But yeah, somebody tell me about that, please. Attenuation. A bone dust bruise shadow damage or healing is increased by 20%, and when bone dust brew deals shadow damage or healing, its cooldown is reduced by 0.5 seconds. Interesting. So, okay. Never used bone dust, never even saw bone dust brew as a brewmaster, really, but I'm sure a lot of people know about it. And Keg Smash deals an additional 30% additional damage and has one additional charge. So, this is the legendary now that everybody looks at as completely mandatory. They have some interesting legendaries in Shadowlands, from what I remember, but this one is just this is better because it basically Keg Smash is like your Death Strike. Like it does everything. It's like so useful and it does a lot of damage and it reduces your brews and it looks cool. It's just like excellent, right? Everything you want about the spec comes through Keg Smash. So this one feels kind of mandatory, honestly. This one feels like it's probably going to be really tough to take anything other than that. But we also have Call to Arms, calls forth the knees out of the Black Ox for Brewmaster there. So that's kind of cool, which is interesting. I don't know about that. And also Effusive Anima Accelerator. Activating your Chiron class ability releases a blast of overcharge anima at your target's location, split evenly, and reduces the cooldown of your Chiron class ability by 4 seconds per affected enemy. So what is that? The legendary? That sounds like that would be the legendary. But yeah, out of the gate here, I have to say, they're taking on a whole new life of their own. I am really interested in seeing how they play because it sounds really powerful. And the thing that I'm most curious about is what the potential of the actual self healing is going to be. Because for me, Brewmaster was always, like I said, kind of like an anti Blood Decay. Like they were the same in many ways, but they handled the damage differently. I've always loved kind of like the theme of it, like the fact that they're dodging a lot, the fact that they're throwing brews and kegs and stuff. It's always kind of cool. It reminds me of a fun time in the game's history as well. Mop is a fun time, honestly, and it still is to this day. Again, I'm really worried about this power creep with the passives, though. It really feels like Blood DK's power creep or passives is just not, it's left in the dust compared to what a lot of other classes have. Like this class is getting not only 4% leech, but it's also going to allies. Like, okay, yeah, maybe we take another look at some of these. But anyway, I'm very, very, very curious to see what their self healing potential looks like because honestly, it's pretty interesting. It really makes me wonder if you literally can just you know, you obviously won't be able to get both of these. I doubt. I don't think that's how it works, right? But it'd be very interesting to just see what this class can play like if you literally just keep threat and spam heal yourself. Like, can you die? Unless I'm missing something about this. Yeah, I don't know, man. It sounds pretty hard to die when you can just spam heal yourself, right? I mean, it's going to use mana, I guess. I don't really know what that's going to look like, of course, the tuning on that front. But I always liked the concept of healers actually being able to heal themselves. And it really never existed for very, very long in the game. But it's kind of cool because in Classic and early days, Paladins used to have a bunch of talents that could basically make it so you'd have 100% pushback reduction on your spells. And with that and concentration aura, and you'd be able to actually spam heal yourself as a Paladin tank. And that was something that people did all the way through Mop. I remember doing it in Mop because with the threat generation, it was actually the easiest way to generate threat. With that and Righteous Fury, you would actually generate more threat. So it's something that's kind of like near and dear to my heart. The concept of actually just spam healing yourself as a tank, and whether or not it's real or not, I don't know. But probably the most overpowered thing I've seen so far in really honestly any of them, besides that whole die by the sword nonsense, is Zen meditation. Zen meditation now being I don't actually do math, so you guys can tell me what's that going to be like 2.5, 3.5 minute CD or something. I don't even know, but it's going to be like under 4 minutes CD, obviously, or maybe I don't. Let's just stop with the math. And Zen meditation, it reduces all damage taken by 60 seconds for 8 seconds, and it's a lower CD now. Brewmaster didn't really need these kind of CDs, man. They were always known for being the stagger tank, right? You get hit and then you deal with that afterwards, kind of like Blood Decay, right? There's a lot of parallels here, but guess what? The Blood Decay is not getting. They're not getting diffuse magic and dampen harm. You know what I mean? They're not getting all this other crazy shit that this spec is getting, and a lot of other spec getting. So I've been very patient. I have not seen a single change for Blood Decay in weeks now. I'm happy about Brewmaster. I'm happy about Warrior. I'm sure Vengeance will be a very interesting video to make as well. But it does feel like there's every talent build that comes out gets more and more power creep. And I'm a little worried about that, to be honest. So we'll see how it plays out. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Thank you for watching.